Hi guys, welcome to another Divi Theme video. This is Jamie from System 22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, today we're going to look at the Divi 5 alpha release, and we're going to build a little home page like we've got here. A little hero section, bit of info, a few little blurb modules and a contact section down here. We're going to build the same thing in Divi 4 and in Divi 5 and just compare the differences with them. So let's get started. Let's start a new page on each. I'm going to start a new page here. And we'll start a new page here on the Divi 4. Just move these out of the way so they're next to each other. And this is Divi 4, so I'm going to call it Home 4. I'm going to use the Divi builder. And here's Divi 5, so we'll call this Home 5. And we'll use the Divi builder. This one loaded quite quickly on the 4. Just coming in there, let's start building from scratch. Now we're on the 4 on this one. Puts in a section for us as usual. Let's throw in a row with a little bit less on the right than the left. And we could put some big letters in here, so let's use a heading. And I think I said Divi. We're on the 4 here, so I'm going to say 4. Hero section. It's popped it up there, fantastic. Don't particularly want to link this or give it a background at the moment. Let's go straight to our design. I can hit my little paintbrush here, it'll take it straight to the styling for this. I'm going to use the Anton font for this, so I'm just going to do a search at the top here. There it is right there. Fantastic. I'm going to make mine capitalized and I'm going to make it very big. See, that's 150. I think that'll actually do. Okay, I'm going to leave that like that. Next door, I'm going to throw in a little call to action. And we're right. Divi 4 test. Again, we'll use Anton for the title. Again, I'm going to hit the little paintbrush up here. And Anton's saved in my recents. Fantastic. I'm going to capitalize it and make it a little bit bigger. Great. We want a button to turn up. So we need to put a link in for the button. Over in content, you always find the link there. Just put anything you want in there and the button will show up. Fantastic. I'm going to leave that just like that. I'm going to change that background to a darker background perhaps. And let's give it some curved corners by going over to design and borders. Let's give it 20 pixels perhaps. Great. I want to throw some social medias under here. I might take this up a little bit in size in a moment. But let's add some social media icons under here that they can click on. We'll add a new module, the little grey button there. Roll on down to social medias. And let's get rid of that second one. Facebook's fine. We'll go into this icon, make it the size and the color we want. It's a blue. I'm going to use the generic blue for everything on my site today. In the design, let's make our icon a little bit bigger. Use a custom size over here. Let's try 60 pixels. I think that's going to be too big. Let's try 45. And I want my little icons to be round. So again, we can do that with the border. We give them a nice big value like 50. They'll be round for us. Fantastic. And when they hover on it, over in content, we've got our background blue here. If we hover up over, get the little arrow up there. We can select a different color on hover by selecting the hover tab. Let's make it orange on hover. Okay, that's great. Now we've got one. We'll save it and we'll duplicate it several times. Back to the main content. 2 little squares to duplicate. There we go. We've got 4 of them now. Let's make the second one Instagram. And again, I'm going to use that same background color. Same hover color, that's fantastic. We'll save that one. Third one, we'll choose the network. Use LinkedIn. The blue's almost there. It's not quite the same blue. We'll save that one. Back to the main ones. And the last one, let's make that YouTube. Network, YouTube. And again, we'll make it blue in color, same. So we've got the same all around. And of course, you'll want to link in all of these to your various Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube pages here. As this is a fantasy site, I'm not going to do that. Great, let's save that. It's looking a bit like a hero section now. I'm going to make this text a little bit bigger, I think. So let's go back into this module. And again, I'll hit the little paintbrush and go straight to it. Let's take it up to maybe 180. Yeah, that's okay. Like I say, I want it as big as possible. And now we'll just give this a bit more space so it's slightly more central. So if we go back into this module, with a bit of design and spacing, padding top, try 50 pixels. It's going to be too much. We're about 30. That'll do, and we'll give it the same on the bottom by hitting the chain there. Fantastic. Well, let's add a nice big hero image in the background of our section here. We'll go back into the blue section. We'll go over to the third tab, which is image. We'll find us a background image. I think that's the one I used before. That's great. Well, let's make this text just stand out a little bit better on our hero section. If we go back into this one, we can go to design and heading text or hit the little paintbrush again. I'm going to make it white in color. And let's give it a color drop shadow, or text shadow I should say, just to make it stand out a bit more. All around. And I'm going to use that same blue color. That's giving it a little glow in the background there. Fantastic. Well, I'm happy with that. Let's just save our draft. Let's go over to Divi 5 now and do exactly the same thing. So again, it's put in a little section for us. We've got our editor on the right hand side here. You can move it, but I quite like it up over the right hand side here. So again, let's add a new row. We'll use the same configuration. I used heading text for this. It's pretty quick putting it in there, I must admit. Now there's no little paintbrush to take us straight to it, so let's go straight to our design tab here. Heading text. There it is, it's a heading one, which is fine for the beginning of our site. And again, I want to use Anton. I've actually got it saved up here because that's what I was doing before. If not, you can do a search or just roll through and it gives you an example when you roll over. So I'm going to use the Anton there. And what did we give it just now? 180 was it? 180. Great. And we wanted it to say Divi 5 hero. Great. And we'll just capitalize that. Great. Well, that was pretty quick. And over here we had a little call to action module. And Divi 5 test. And again, my heading, there's no little paintbrush there. If we go design, we've got everything mapped out right here. Title text. Again, I'm going to use that Anton. Again, we've got it saved up there. I'm going to capitalize it. And let's make it probably 50 pixels or something like that. And we want the little button to turn up. You know how to do that over in content, in link. Seems to be slightly quicker to navigate around this. There's our little button. And we just want to turn that background to black again like we did. Background's always under content. Let's turn that black. Design, we gave it slightly rounded borders, didn't we? Let's close up the title text, go down to borders. Yeah, 20 pixels I think I used before. Fantastic. So we want to add our little social medias. Add a new little module. There's the social medias. Again, it's put in 2 for us. I'm going to get rid of that second one. We'll work on the first one here. Notice it's butted it up right against the side there. Let's try changing the gutter width here, see if it makes any difference. We're on 3, that should give it a bit of space there, but I guess not. So I'll leave it on 3 and we'll just use a bit of padding to space that out. We'll go back in there. And we're in my Facebook one. Background, I'm going to use that default blue. Design. Icon color's alright. I want to use a custom size. I think we used 45 before. Looks about right. And we wanted to make it round. So let's put 50 in there. We got a nice round icon. Okay, I want to change that background color on hover. Don't see any opportunity to do that at the moment with Divi 5 here. I'm sure they'll implement that soon because that's quite a big deal. So we'll leave that one on the blue and let's just add our other ones. We can go back to social network and there's no save button, so we just go back. I'm guessing it's saving it in real time, at least I hope so. And we'll duplicate this one a couple of times again. Second one again was going to be Instagram. Again, I want to change that background to the blue. Third one, I think we did LinkedIn, which was close color wise, but not quite close enough. And the last one, I think we did YouTube. And again, you'd want to put in your URLs to take people to these specific pages in the link just above there, obviously. It's quite a fast system for getting through this. This is okay. Now, if we go back to our main settings and we'll go to our design, we'll add a bit of spacing top and bottom so we can push it down a little bit here. Spacing. Padding top, let's try 40 pixels. Maybe a little bit more. What about 50? Maybe too much. Not too bad. Let's put 50 on the bottom as well. Great. Fantastic. Well, let's go into our section and add that little hero image in the background there. Again, we've got everything come up on the right hand side here. Let's add a background image. There's the one we used before. Just for a bit of fun, let's make it parallax. I don't think we did in the other one, but we can do that. I'll just use CSS parallax, which is also fixed background, so it'll stay there when we scroll up and down the site. And let's make our text more visible here, finally. Design. Heading text. We'll make that white. Again, we're going to use a little bit of text shadow. Slightly different icons down here. We use that blue. That's a little too much. Let's click on the blue for this particular one. Just bring it down in opacity a little bit so it's not quite so in your face. It's there, but not so crazy. Great. We're good to go. We can save draft up here. The buttons are up here rather than down here. So we've got one there. That was pretty quick. And we've got one here. And I think below that, what do we have? A little split section with just an image and a bit more info there. Let's do that on our 4. Let's add a new section. Little blue button to add a section. We'll make it a regular section. Inside, I'm going to use two 50% columns there. In my first one, I'm going to put an image of that young fella there. Or perhaps not so young. Now I want this to be taking up half the screen here, so we need to make our row full width. To do that, let's just save our image, go to the row, the green tab for the row here, over to design and sizing, width, we'll drag that up to 100%. We're on the Divi 4 again here. I'm going to copy that, Control C, and paste it, Control V down below in the max width, or you can just type that in if you want to. Okay, we need to get rid of the space around here. So while we're in the row, let's try dragging the gutter width down, see if that makes a difference. That makes a little bit of a difference there. Looks like we need to take some padding away top and bottom. Padding is always under design in spacing. Let's make sure there's none at the top, put a 0 there. And at the bottom. And now we just need to take the padding away from the section itself. blue tab for the section. We'll go in there, know where the padding in is, design and spacing. Put a 0 in the top there, hit the chain. Fantastic, just what I wanted. And over here we can have a little bit of info. I think again I just use a little call to action here. Move this out of the way so we can see. Don't think I had a title, did I? Oh, more information. So we'll say more information. Great. And we want a little button to turn up there. We know how to make that happen. Go to the link, put your button link in there. Great. I don't want a background on this. I'm going to take that away and it will disappear into the background. But if I go back in there now, just make this text dark in color, we'll be able to see it again. I want it to be a lot bigger than that, and I want to use my little Anton again. So again, I'm going to hit my little paintbrush. I do like the paintbrush. It seems to be missing in this one here, but it's all pretty user-friendly over on the right-hand side there. So anyway, I've hit my paintbrush. I've gone over to title text. Again, I'm going to use my little Anton. Again, I'm going to capitalize it. I'm going to make it a lot bigger. Something like that. And let's use that crazy blue color we've been using. That's good. I just want to chuck it down the page a little bit more. Not sure what else we did there, not a whole lot. I think I changed that button outline to the same one. We can do that while we're in design, or we can just click on a pencil connected to the button there. Custom styles of button. Button text color, let's just change it to that same blue right there. We need to push this down just a little bit. We can do that over in design and spacing again. Let's close up the button. Spacing is just down below. Let's maybe give it, let's try 20%. That'll be better for smaller devices when we go down. Maybe a little bit too much. Let's increment up. 15%, I think that's going to do. Great. Well, we've got our little info section with a fella's picture and our little call to action there. We'll just save our draft. Let's go over to 5 and do a similar thing. Again, a little blue button, square button this time in Divi 5 to add a new section. And I'm going to make it a regular section. Again, I'll do 50-50. In the first one, I just want to put an image. And we'll get that fella again. I think I've got the same images on both sites here. Great. Again, we want to make this row a lot bigger, so let's click on the row here. Go over to design. Sizing, we use that custom gutter width and take it down again to 0. And again, I'm going to take this up to 100%. Copy and paste, or just type your 100% in down below here. And we've got our little full width row there. Again, looks like we need to take the spacing away from the row and the section. Let's close up sizing here. Spacing is just underneath. Padding top 0. We'll hit the chain, make sure there's none on there. Fantastic. And we'll do the same for the little section here. Design, spacing, little 0. Fantastic. Hit the chain, it'll do the bottom as well. Brilliant. And we just added our little call to action over here. And we said more information. And again, I wanted to use my Anton font. We can do that over in design, but while we're here, I want to take that background away. Either make it white or make it transparent, whatever you want to do. In design, there's our title text. I want to make that blue. I want to use my Anton. And again, it's saved it in our recents here. We're going to make it capital and a lot bigger. I can't quite remember how big I made it, something like that. And then in our text, I just turned it from light to dark. And we want a button over in link. We need to put a little link in for the button. There's our little button. Looks like our button's actually the right color there, but just to check, let's go to design, down the button. Custom styles of button. Button text. Making that blue. Pretty close. Let's close that up and get it where we want with the spacing. I think I used 15% last time. Close up the body text and spacing. I think 1.5 and the percent sign. I think that'll do nicely. And we'll do the same for the bottom. Great. Again, let's save our draft. I think it's a bit quicker in 5 actually, or it seems to be, or maybe it's just because I've just done it. And next we had a few little blurbs there, a little information section, or a little services section, or whatever you wanted. Let's add a new section. We're back on the 4 here, remember. Make it a regular section. I'm going to have 3 columns in this section. I'm going to use the great little blurb module for this. I'm not even going to put a title, I'll leave it on the generic there. But I will switch the image for an icon in image and icon just below. Use an icon. And put that in there. Want to make that a little smaller. If you want to link this to somewhere, you can put a link in down there. Don't want any background on these. Going to go to my design. Image and icon. Icon color, I'm going to use that same blue there. I'm going to take it down in size a little bit, say 50 pixels. I'm happy pretty much with everything the way it is there. I'm going to have that light in a minute. We're going to make this a dark section. So let's do that while we're in our design. Close up image and icon. Text, let's just make that light in color. It'll disappear into the background. But what we can do now is put our background in our section, and that text will come back. Blue tab for the section. Background always under content. Let's use a little gradient this time. I'm going to use a very dark grey on the top. 2024 24 I use quite often, and I'm going to put a black on the bottom. It's almost like a black section, but not quite. Fantastic. Now we've got that. We can just copy this over a couple of times. Obviously you'd have different content in yours, but this is a method that I've been building sites with Divi 4 for so long now. I'm very familiar with it and I do enjoy it. It's got a great workflow, I think. But having said that, I think the Divi 5 does a bit better. So there's our little services section, or whatever you want. Let's save our draft. We'll do the same thing with 5. Over to 5 again here. Again, a little square button this time to add a new section. I'll make it regular. We put 3 little columns in there. We used a little blurb module. Just roll on down. Didn't change anything really. We just went into there. We're going to change the image for an icon. Image and icon down here. Use icon. Same set of icons there. Great. Link. Don't want a background. That's all good. If we go over to design now, I'm going to turn that text light in color once more. It'll disappear. I do want to take that icon down a little bit. I think I took it down to 50 pixels or something like that. Great. Let's add our little background now into the section. Background, do a gradient. Again, I'll use the same colors. Click on that. There's the 2424. Let's make this one a black. Fantastic. It is actually very quick. Seems to be doing it slightly quicker with this particular version. Great. Let's save our draft there. And the last thing I think I did was just threw a little contact section on the bottom there with that young lady, a form, bit of text, and a huge number in the bottom there. Huge numbers seem to be in vogue at the moment on websites. I'm not sure where that's come from, but that's fine. So let's go back into our 4 and hit the plus and make it a regular section. I'm going to give it 2 columns. I'm going to use a contact form, funnily enough. I'm going to leave it just like it is, name, email, message. I will give it a title. I think we just said reach out. And again, my title, I do miss the little pen thing that we've got here with 4. We haven't got it yet with 5, but on the other hand, it's not difficult to get over this side. I think it's been slightly quicker on this version, but we'll see. So let's go to our little heading text. Again, I'm going to use my Anton. I'm going to make it pretty big. I'm going to make it capitalized. Don't know how big I made that over here, but pretty big. So let's do that. roll down, text size, and of course you can adjust this for tablet and mobile using that little mobile phone icon there. Something like that. 85 pixels looks about right. Of course I'll turn this white in a moment. And then the button itself, I'm going to turn that to the white color as well. I'm going to make those forms a little bit more interesting. While we're in the design here, let's go to our fields. I'm going to take the background color away. It'll disappear into the background. I'm going to make my writing white, fields text color. That'll disappear. Let's go ahead, put a background in here so we can see what we're doing. So I'm going to click on section. We're going to go in there. Let's add a little image. And we had that young lady on the telephone. Great. I'm not going to make this parallax or anything. We do need to do our top image here as parallax. Okay, let's go back to our fields. We're in our section setting at the moment. While we're here, we can do back into our contact form. Let's go into that heading. Just gonna make it white in color. And again, we'll use that little text trick to make it glow a little bit. Just use the all round. And we'll make it blue. It's got that little glow around it now. Back to our fields. They're okay. I don't want to change anything, but I do want to make them rounded. So let's go down to our border. And I think I use something like 20 on them. Can't really see because we got no border. So let's give it a 2 pixel white border there. Fantastic. Need to do our capture text and do something with that little button there. So if we close that out, we got our capture text up above. Just need to make that white in color so we can see it. And then our button, we use custom styles for the button. I think I just made that regular white and use that Anton on there, didn't we? So use custom styles for button text color. We're going to keep it white. Button font, we're going to use the Anton again. I'm going to make it capital. Don't want to make it any bigger than that, I don't think. But I will round out those borders. If we roll back up, button border radius, we make it 20, just like the other ones. Fantastic. And then we just finished off by putting a huge number on the bottom. I think I put that on a different row, so let's add a new row. Single column, single row. Again, we can use a heading text for this. I think I'll make it a heading 2. Again, I'm going to use the Anton. And of course we want it white in color. We want it in the middle. We want it capitalized. It's going to be numbers, so I don't know if it'll make much difference. And I think we might have made it even bigger than 180. It might have been 2 something or other. Let's put a telephone number in there and see what happens. See if it'll fit. Text. Telephone number. Let's say 321 1 da 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 da. Yeah, we can probably even go up a little bit more with that. Want a bit of a space between those numbers there. Great. Let's go back in there. We can take those up a little bit. Let's make them perhaps 220. Let's stick it 200. That's broken that line there. I think that'll work. And we'll just add that little text glow. Again, it was this one. Again, we use the blue. And while we're on this page, I just needed to make this background image parallax. In the image, there's the parallax. And we want to use CSS parallax. Great. We'll save that. We'll save our draft. Just roll down where we were. We need to do this with our Divi 5 now. Roll down where we finish right here. We'll hit the plus to add a new section. It's going to be a regular section. We put 2 columns in it. And we use a little contact form. it does pop up a little bit quicker here. In the contact form, I'm leaving that as it is. We just said reach out. And again, there's no little button to go there. But if we go to our design tab, there's our title text. Again, we're going to use the Anton. I'm going to capitalize it. Won't make it white just yet because it'll disappear. I'll make it a lot bigger. Something like that. Now we can make it white. Now it's the size that we want it. Let's just put our background in our little section here. Yeah, it's pretty easy to work around. I must admit, it's pretty quick. There's our young lady on the phone. Great. And we'll sort out everything here. Over in our design, actual title text there, we gave it that drop shadow. Again, it's slightly different here. I like these new drop shadows. Blue, a little bit too much again. We're just going to take the opacity, the variegated slider down a bit. So it's not quite, it's still there, but it's not quite as in your face. Great. And now let's do our fields. Fields background, transparent. Fields text color, I want to make that white. And we want to roll down to the borders. And make the border white, 2 pixels. And we had a border radius of about 20 pixels. Fantastic. I've got our capture text down there. Right here. Need to make that white. And finally, we need to just sort that button out. Use custom styles for button. Button text, all we need to do is make it white. I do like having all these things laid out here. They do make life a bit easier there. And the actual font, we used our little Anton there. Capitalized it, but I didn't make it any bigger. Button border, you can make that about 20 pixels. We should be good to go on that little one. Fantastic. And then we just threw in the telephone number down below here. Single column. I used a heading module for this. Let's put the number in there. 321 123 4563. Don't want a background. Design wise, heading text. I want to make it a 2 or maybe even a 3 because we got a 1 up the top there. Don't want more than one heading one on a site. I'm going to make it white in color. I'm going to use our Anton. Not sure that capitalizing it will make any difference at all on a number. We want it to be in the middle. And I think we used 200 pixels. Fantastic. And then we just added that little glow. Preset 2. Blue color. A little too much. Click on the color. Pull the opacity down a bit. Got a little bit of a glow there. Fantastic. So we've done that. Let's save our changes now. Looking down the bottom for my buttons, but they're all up the top here. And another thing with this, you've got a nice night and day button up here. You can switch it to a dark editor if you prefer. And this is where your mobile styles is for tablet and mobile phone there. And we've got our other regular tools that we have down there, such as history, export, import, and clear layout, add to library up here as well. So let's preview this. That was pretty quick to build, very easy. I do like the new way it does it. It seems to be very quick. There was a couple of little things missing that they haven't implemented yet. But that was pretty quick and easy to build a little home page very easily like that. I know it's a very simple home page, but you get the idea of the build. Let's have a look at our 4 here. We saved draft. Let's exit the Visual Builder. And again, it's looking good there. And of course, I'm so familiar with this type of build. We've got our parallax section, a little bit of info, the guy's picture, a few little blurbs there, and our little contact form down here. Fantastic. So although I'm very familiar with 4 and it's very easy to use, as you can see, I think it is a little bit quicker. Let's go to the main page with 5 here. And I certainly found it very easy to go from one to the other. The build technique and the layout is the same, but I think this is a lot quicker, and I think the page is going to load a lot quicker also. That was pretty quick. So there you go, guys. There's a little test between Divi 4 and Divi 5. Both great to work with, but I think the 5 is going to be great when it comes out. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget, if you have any questions, pop them down below the video. I'll do my best to answer them for you, or make a little demo video just like this one. So once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.